The French champagne has always been noted for its excellence. Here's a new California champagne by Paul Masson inspired. Like that's and it just does a couple of takes of him. The French. It's so good. It's so good. I can't get enough of it. We will have to watch it before you leave.
Okay, I'm down.
So yes, today's episode brought to you today by Paul Masson.
The cognac that I had didn't taste. I was shooting air.
Wow, that's amazing to me. We should have had Paul Masson sponsor last week's episode. Man, I got so sauced for that one. I fell asleep during the recording.
No, I gave myself a headache when I got home.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh my god, we're still recording and we're in the middle of an episode, and here I am just.
Pickle Beer was really
I blame
good,
Voyager.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, Basics.
Basics Part 2.
Which wasn't as good as I remembered as a kid.
No. Like it's fine. It's fine. I can't even I can't even remember really what we said. I guess it's maybe the best one of that whole Sisko. I don't know. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Well, hey all. Welcome to today's episode of Star Trek Stories. I am your creator and host, Jaron Hatch, and I'm joined here by my co-host for these episodes, Aren Hatch.
Hello.
Hello.
I couldn't think of anything to say.
Hi. Hello. Yes, we just finished our look at Voyager. Wow. Quite the voyage, you might say.
Boo, tomato. Put as much effort into that as the Voyager titles.
I just as much thought went into it. Yeah. What if we just do this? That's it. Yes, we just finished our look at Voyager. This was a 17 episode selection where we took a look at the first 2 seasons of Voyager, the early years. Which you haven't seen as much, even though you were the Voyager fan.
Yeah, usually when I rewatch episodes, they're usually from seasons 4 and above. So with 7, need her in my life.
No 7, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid.
Yeah. You have to knock off like 4 whole stars per episode for that.
Sorry, 4. I'm an unabashed Voyager fan, but no 7. So 4 out of 5 stars, or in my ranking, 4 out of 10 stars.
No. You have to knock off 4 stars. So
no
stars. Higher than 6 out of 10.
No 7. Yeah, this will be fun to go over because, you being the bigger Voyager fan. Maybe as we talk about it, this will reveal why we come at this show the way we do. Because you were the bigger Voyager fan. We have definitely established. That's part of the reason why I had you come on, is so you're a Voyager fan. I am not as big of a Voyager fan, seeing how we both feel about this show. But you almost never watch the early seasons. You're like a season 4 through 7 fan. The 7 of 9 years.
I mean, there's still some bangers in seasons 1 through 3, but
I am not as big a fan on this show, but we just watched these first couple seasons, and I feel like that's some good perspective for both maybe where we're coming from this show. This was also part of a larger look at Golden Age Trek, that magical time when there was constant Star Trek on from 1987 to 2005. Still the longest era, and definitely by far the most prolific era of Star Trek. Our conceit for both this 100 episode list that we're doing and Golden Age Trek is that this whole era is defined by the first show in this whole era, Star Trek: The Next Generation. This is the show around which all others revolve. And I know you're not as big a TNG fan, but I do believe you would more or less agree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I said it on a previous episode. It's like the Star Trek show.
It's the Star Trek show. Yeah. So for this 100 episode list, we did. We watched like an abridged 40 episode TNG from start to finish, and we got a good sense of what is arguably the definitive Trek show. Now in this golden age, we're watching the spin-offs and successors of that show. And in the chunk before this, we watched Deep Space Nine, the first of them. We looked at how it tried to set itself apart from TNG in the early years. Now we've just watched the early years of Voyager, and seeing how Voyager both tries to like set itself apart, but also carry on the legacy of TNG, which is not exactly the same mission that Deep Space Nine had. Deep Space Nine was specifically set up to be this other show. Maybe could become as popular or hold that torch in a really good way, but I think that show was always designed to be this kind of alternative other Star Trek show. It's
political Star Trek, but political in universe.
In the universe, yeah. I mean, and out universe too.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I consider all Star Trek to be political. But like in universe is like that's like its thing. Like it dealt so much with that.
Voyager, like Deep Space Nine, in these early seasons, it needs to set itself apart. But Voyager has this added thing of being a direct successor to, or spiritual successor to TNG. We did talk about how this show was also launching a new network. So there was a lot, and this was going to be the show that was carrying on the torch for the franchise. There's a lot more pressure for this show to be successful. So we can start there. How successful do you think Voyager is, Aren? Reflecting back, how successful do you think this show was at setting itself apart from the other shows? TNG, Deep Space Nine, and Star Trek as a whole, specifically in these early years.
I mean, it's super different in my mind, so I don't know if I'm biased. So it is separate for me, but I think a lot of it comes from quality. As much as I enjoy it, the quality it has a very different vibe. I don't know. It has its own special weird vibe. It's like a monkey in a workshop with a wrench rather than like a human in there like fine tuning things. It's like
it's a bull in a china shop there.
I don't know. I can do some things, but it doesn't. Okay. But then you get some wonky like Tears of the Kingdom contraption rather than like this beautiful, well deuteriumed machine. I don't know. My metaphors are going crazy, Jerry.
All over the place. Welded deuterium, Tears of the Kingdom contraptions. Oh my God. How big of a nerd are you in that you understood this metaphor?
This is how my mind works.
Oh my God.
It's constantly at a 20 out of a 10 just at all times.
So it's got a vibe.
It has its vibe.
But what is the vibe? I mean, just going more off of that. And if we're looking specifically at TNG and Deep Space Nine, we can also throw in classic Trek into here as well. But like, what is this vibe compared to the other vibes?
The other vibes know what they are. This one knows what it came from, but it doesn't know what it is necessarily. And so it's like it's trying to imitate more than like actually come from like a place of I don't know. Which Enterprise has the same problem, and you know I love Enterprise.
Yeah.
So, like for like Star Trek quality wise, it's not there because it feels more like a half-assed imitation of what it's like someone. If someone told you this is what Star Trek is about, but they've never seen any Star Trek, and they're like, oh well, then I think this is what it is. Then it's kind of like that. I don't know if any of that made sense.
I think so. Like. Like say when we watched The Cloud with Rachel, and Rachel's never seen Star Trek, but they're like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like,
No.
I get it. But kind of going off of what you just said, I think this is why for me it doesn't set itself apart, and this is one of my problems with the show is that yes, on some level it does have its vibe. I would say most of that comes from the characters, compared to some of the other show ensembles. But this show always has felt like a hodgepodge of everything that has come before in a way that the other shows weren't. Even like TNG is a pretty direct successor to TOS, and like it's like, what if we could just do that show, that basic idea, just in this time period with new characters and stuff. So like the DNA is very similar, but even then they really, and it takes them a second to get there, but once they do, it's like, yeah, these are different shows. Like TNG feels more like a drama in space, whereas TOS feels like kooky space adventures. I mean, there's going to be crossing over with all these, of course, but and then, yeah, like you said, D Space Nine is more political. It's more character focused. It's more complex. It's darker. It's moodier.
I think we're on the same track. It feels like someone who has been told what elements make up Star Trek, but they don't they know what elements are supposed to technically be there, but that's it. It's like a surface level understanding of what Star Trek's supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's why I struggle with it, because and I think there are shows, other like future Star Trek shows, that actually are a little more intentional with that being its concept. It's still not my favorite concept, but at least it's intentional. Whereas Voyager feels like it was specifically set up to be something very specific. And this is going to be the Lost in Space Star Trek survival show. And like we get little glimpses and tastes of it, but that is just not what really quickly, not what this show, it just feels like they take the TNG is definitely the biggest, the one they're emulating the most. It's like, let's get some of that happy family TNG, family in space stuff back. We're going to keep doing that. But then let's kind of mix in, there's a little bit of the Deep Space Nine. It's like, okay, well, we're going to do Deep Space Nine in that, like, Deep Space Nine had a mixed crew. We're going to do a kind of mixed crew too. There'll be kind of conflict, and it'll be a little more edgy and, a little more moody. But then it's going to be like TOS, kooky space adventure stuff as well. So it just feels like they put all that to a blender. Like they came up with a very specific concept. It's going to be this Star Trek show about they're lost, and it's like, how do we survive when we're on our own, away from Starfleet and the Federation, all our ideals? Like, how do we hold on to what makes us human in Starfleet? And instead we get just kind of blender Star Trek show. And I'm just kind of like, so for me, this where this show fails is that while sure on some level it has its own quality, again, the cast, and otherwise I'm like, it just doesn't make itself distinct enough. And it's kind of like, so I mean, if you don't have anything else to compare it to, I guess it's fine. But if you do, then it's like, come on, Voyager.
That's kind of how I feel. I mean, I could relate that to the new Dragon Age game. A lot of people are like, if you haven't played any Dragon Age games, this is a great game. But if you've played the other Dragon Age games, it's like,
been there and done that.
More just like, it's not reaching. It's like all surface level kind of in a way. And I mean, I feel like a big part of this is unfortunately money.
Yeah.
And money.
Yeah.
Because money also is people afraid to upset audiences, by doing something different. And also, too many people high up, I don't know what happens for them to get to this point where they treat their audiences like they're stupid in a way. Yeah. And they there's no trust there. Yeah. For people to be able to see something different and new and actually be like, oh, actually this is, Yeah. And I feel like they just wanted to play it too safe because of money, and they were afraid of sinking the franchise, but in so doing,
they start. This is when the franchise starts sinking. Yeah. You can almost trace it directly to Voyager.
Yeah.
Because they play it safe. There's like people like TNG. Let's just give them that. I'm just like, look, say what you will about the first 2 seasons of Next Gen, and there's a lot of things to say, but they more or less, because of the circumstances, let Gene Roddenberry just do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that led to problems. But in the end, I think they were able to build up enough of an interesting. They were able to build up an interesting enough creative framework and just bonkers vision that they were able to really make a really awesome show that was different from TOS. It could do its own thing. And, even Deep Space Nine, watching some of the stuff we did in the last chunk, it's like, oh my God, yeah, here you go. But this is just like, I've seen almost every episode we watched. I'm like, I've seen this done better elsewhere.
I guess just how, it started back then. I guess it's just like the obsession with nostalgia and remakes and, not original new content. You can still be in a franchise and make something new and interesting.
Yeah.
Prodigy. But I feel like so much of it is just like everyone just being like, well, everyone liked this, so we need to make this exact thing again.
Yeah.
Without understanding what made the first thing so...
What made people like in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate.
Yeah. It's, it's... People just think it's the franchise or the IP and hitting some baseline for that. And, that's what people like. I'm like, no, when that first Star Wars came out,
I was just thinking of Star Wars. I was like, we need to bring up Star Wars.
A revolutionary movie. And people don't really talk about it in this sense, but the 1970s were a very, with that classic film auteur decade where the studio system had collapsed, and now all of this kind of edgy, new, auteur-driven stuff was now breaking through. And part of that was Star Wars. There was nothing like Star Wars, even though Star Wars very much codified other genres and things that were around. But I'm like, you had not seen it like this before. And Empire Strikes Back, the sequel, what a gutsy sequel to do. But then Return of the Jedi shows up, and then the Voyager of Star Wars, and
I love Return of the Jedi.
You love Voyager.
I love the prequels.
Voyager's when the Ewoks show up, everyone. It's all about merchandising. But then from
merchandising,
it just becomes about the thing itself rather than the stories and the characters. It's about more Star Wars stuff. It's about more Star Trek stuff. And when something kind of becomes about itself, this is when you start running into problems. And I feel like Voyager is when the franchise starts to become about itself for the first time. And unfortunately, because we still have other shows to watch on this podcast, I don't think the franchise has escaped
nope.
since.
All you need to know is to see the Star Trek franchise little opening they put in front of everything.
Oh my
now.
God, yeah, Tanner and I would do it every time. We were watching Lower Decks the other night, and we're like, I wish I knew what I was watching. If only there were some clue, we're watching Star Trek. That just little logo they do at the beginning of every Star Trek show now.
Just something about it just pisses me off.
I know what I'm watching. I clicked on it. I know what I'm watching. Now it's just about itself. And some people will say modern Star Trek is the beginning of that. I'm like, I hate to break it to you, but it started earlier, and it started right here.
It's just now in the glory days of being self-important. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's about the self-importance of being about itself.
So many layers here.
That's so sad. What's the big thing that's like, and we've kind of talked about it. This being the Successor show, what about this works as the Successor, and what about this doesn't work as the Successor?
The cast feels like a family, which the TNG cast to me does feel like a family. In later seasons, and especially the movies.
Yeah. They get there for sure.
Exploring the next weird thing. So those are the two things. The kind of family-ish crew.
Yeah, I would also agree with you on the ensemble on some level. Mostly the cast. More so than the actual characters they play. Sometimes it depends on which episode we're talking about. But I would even argue on so much of the appeal of TNG was that kind of family dynamic that they created, and we definitely talked about it when we were watching TNG. But on some level, I feel like the Voyager ensemble captures that even better.
I actually think they have the best family dynamic.
Yeah.
Of the crew. Like the TOS crew, even in the movies, they're very close, but they still just feel like coworkers who just got a little too close.
Yeah. And now that we're legends, so
and we're
now
legends, so
forever tied to each other.
They are. Yeah. It's not trauma bonding; it's hero bonding.
Exactly. Yeah, hero bonding. Yeah, is definitely the TOS crew. We're the best that's ever been, so we can't break the band up.
Yeah, exactly. And TNG is like, we're professionals and we're coworkers, but also we've worked together for so long, we just know each other's the in and outs of each other.
Yeah.
So, but we're still professionals and coworkers, but we'll always have this bond between each other.
Yeah.
Even if we go and work somewhere else.
Yeah.
But Voyager's like, we're here, we're stuck with each other.
We're all we've got.
We've all we've got. And no matter, like, all of their goals have changed and shifted, and they have to work together, and I skipped over DS9, but they have their own dynamic.
They have their own dynamic,
yeah. But yeah, so they're forced into it, kind of, in a way.
Yeah. Rather
than the kind of more natural progression that TNG has, but they both have a very similar kind of thing. But yeah, this one's definitely more just like, this is literally our home. This is all we have. Yeah.
They're very chummy and cozy, and we'll get into it a bit with the characters. We definitely have our favorites. We definitely have our favorite actors. We definitely have favorite characters. There are some who don't quite live up, and I'm speaking more of the characters. I think all the cast actually bring it as best they can. Some of the characters leave a little bit to wanting, but I like everyone, and I like it feels so cozy and chummy, and yay! It doesn't necessarily make for great storytelling, but especially when they specifically set up that there's going to be conflict on the crew, and they abandon it so quickly. But it does feel nice, and that is probably the biggest thing about this show. That is, in terms of carrying on that legacy, I would argue that the Voyager crew, the Voyager ensemble, has an even bigger homey family.
And one of my kind of issues with TNG is that everything feels so sterile. Everyone's kind of so perfect.
Yeah, not as much here.
Yeah, not as much here. Yeah. Which adds to a little bit to the dynamic.
Not as conflicted and imperfect as Deep Space Nine. They're kind of in a middle ground between these two casts. Yeah. All right, so the ensemble. That's probably the thing I think we would probably most agree is where the show succeeds.
This show lives and dies off its ensemble.
Yeah. So we don't get quite some of the character work we want, but in terms of being like a chummy, like, I like these guys and I want to be with them every week. Okay, yeah, that's the strongest legacy in terms of succeeding TNG. Where does this show falter? Where does this show not succeed as the successor to TNG?
it doesn't. TNG was really earnest in what it was trying to do.
Very.
And the themes that it was exploring.
Very.
And this one isn't.
Mm.
It's like, oh, we should try and explore this, and then they don't actually go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of wrap it up.
This is what we have been, I've been editing these episodes. It comes up in so many episodes. The failure to commit to the bit we've talked about it so many times, and it's almost impressive.
It is.
How non-committal
it's a talent.
This show is. It's almost, like, wow, congrats, guys. You guys are so quick to... We haven't gotten a literal reset button episode yet, which Voyager is infamous for, but it almost feels like every episode, on some level, they are mildly hitting a reset button. Deadlock. Reset button. That's all fine. Harry Kim's dead, but he's not.
It's just there feel like no lingering consequences for anything.
Yeah, when there absolutely should be for a show like this.
And I know that's an undertaking. It's just like to try and have to keep track with what has happened and to weave that in. But I mean, Deep Space Nine manages to do it. And if you're gonna do a show like this, you can't just half-ass it. You have to actually do it. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, on some level, it's even more crucial than say what you're doing with Deep Space Nine. It's different because Deep Space Nine, you're in just one place, so it makes sense that your consequences are going to stick around. But this is their situation is so desperate and dire.
But we are still in one place technically. TNG kind of gets away with it because they can always go to a starbase and refresh and I don't know. Things are changing, but this one is just this is the only constant is our ship.
Yeah.
And there's no starbases or anything, There's no people transferring in and out.
No, it's all the same people.
It's all the same, and so.
But it still just feels like even in each episode we would talk about how here's how this is a good idea. Here's how they didn't fully commit to it. Good idea. Here's how they didn't fully commit to it. In terms of the broad what we've watched so far. They go out of their way to set up this kind of we're on our own, we have no backup, we have no supply, blah, 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 blah. And all we kind of mostly get, I've talked about this with Leah at work a few times. She came on for Phage, but it's they will just kind of casually talk about our replicator rations are low, Captain, and our energy reserves are low.
You never really see it.
But that's it. But it doesn't ever feel like that they're ever really in any danger or problem. It's people are just, they're using the holodecks, they're just kind of still enjoying life as, they have a permanently running holodeck program, the pool table hall, which I do like. I do like Shay Shandrine. But I'm you just have this, as far as we can tell, you guys basically have this running all the time. It doesn't feel like things are that dire. And as much as we get oh, my replicator rations are low. But then we're whatever, I'll just use my replicator rations. And so it just doesn't feel like it's so much, they barely speak to it. And I feel like the ship should be slowly falling apart.
It's just so weird because I don't know why they thought it was better this way when you can get so much good tension and conflict and storylines by having things be bad.
Yeah, and I think there's a way to really do that where you can still do your episodic episodes. And I wonder if they're just afraid of we want to make sure we do episodes anyone can come in for. I'm I still think you can get away with that
and still have it affect it in some way,
but I feel but that's something that potentially could also be a hook for people new coming on to want to keep checking it out, because it's oh yeah, okay, they're in this little situation, but they're a ship that's in a precarious position, and you want to see how that's what's gonna get you coming back for multiple episodes. Is like they're in a tough spot. How are they gonna do this? But they just keep doing more or less business as usual.
There's so many fun things you could do that don't have to be. They can be super on the side. It's just like, well, we lost this crew member. We don't have enough people to man this place that we're gonna have to shut down this biolab.
Yeah.
And only use it on like in emergencies or whatever. Like people have to change positions or whatever, learn new skills as crew members are lost or.
That shit would be great, because I think in the episodes we've watched, we've lost like 4 or 5 crewmen.
Mm-hmm. And they don't have that many people on the ship.
They don't have that many people on the ship. I feel like this was the show where it's like every time we lose someone,
it should be huge.
It should be huge. And like they have to always reconfigure the crew. They barely talk about it. Like,
they could be bringing on more new people, just random people who are just like, you know what? I have nothing. Like, I think it'd be fun to help you on your crew, and go somewhere newer.
I think it would be awesome for them to. I can see why they didn't do this. It would have been so cool for them to see like Neelix and Kes were just the first, and this show slowly gets more aliens that they meet along the way, kind of filling out their crew. But then you get this idea of that they're forming their own little federation out there all by themselves, and that could have been such a cool like thematic.
And like you don't have to really show these people all. You don't have to show the random new crew member who showed up all the time. Just like you can maybe show them even just one more time,
I think you can do it in a way that makes sense, where it's like there's an episode where they rescue some people from some mining ship, and there's some people who want to stay with them. And then you just kind of see them in the background from time to time, and maybe one of them like gets an episode. I
do love when some random ass crew member just gets like a weird spotlight in an episode.
I think there's a lot of fun stuff that could be played with in a way that makes it so like anyone stumbling onto the show would be like, I want to keep checking this show out because I want to see what happens with these guys. But it's just kind of business as usual. Asterisks.
We can't even run out of shuttlecrafts. Like, what if we actually run out of torpedoes and shuttlecraft?
Right, they've talked about we have a limited supply of torpedoes, so it limits what they can do.
And so what about them trying to like make some?
Yeah.
Or they do build the Delta Flyer, and I'm like, but what if they had to do that more? Like they had to be creative and
there should be a lot more conceits like that for episodes rather than we've stumbled across
another living cloud.
Space. Yeah, another living cloud.
What is this? The 5th one we've come across?
This is the 5th
Captain?
one. It's been 2 years.
Surely we can just fly by this one?
God.
No, we must investigate.
Yeah, so if we're talking about the biggest failures, the committing to the bit, they definitely do this on a story level, and like it's a huge problem of the show. But on a bigger level, it's like you need to commit to the show bit. And they just jettison it, and it's really sad and unfortunate. And I think both of us have talked about how, on paper, this could have been poised to be the greatest Star Trek show.
We've written like almost every episode that we've come across. We write fix-it fanfic on this podcast.
It's too bad. It's too bad. But I guess good fanfic stuff. Voyager's ripe for fanfic. We've watched 17 episodes from the first 2 seasons. What has stood out to you? What are the highlights of what we've just watched?
Suitor. So especially Meld.
Yeah.
And Life Science.
Yeah. The back-to-back favorites. I would also agree. I would put Life Science first, then Meld.
I would do the reverse.
All right. Agreed. Meld and Life Science.
I have two
honorable mentions though. Yes.
I forgot the name. Prime Factors.
Yep.
Because
Which was our favorite for a bit.
I think that's just a solid episode all around. It doesn't have a weird B plot. It has an interesting plot. It ends on an ambiguous note. It's not just happy Voyager fly off into the space horizon, you know.
I agree.
Great Star Trek episode, great Voyager episode.
I agree.
And then I also want to give a shout out to Deadlock, just because it was
the chaos.
It was so chaotic. The pace was crazy. It was just flying, and like crazy stuff was happening. You get two Janeways acting against each other, which was incredible. Just such Star Trek hijinks. Like this is such a Star Trek issue, a Star Trek problem, conflict, whatever.
You only see episodes like this in Star Trek. This is a Star Trek technobabble anomaly of the week episode.
But they do it in such a fun way, where unlike the other ones where it's just like, oh, it's a space hijink cloud garbage, but then it's boring. This was exciting, and they could have obviously done better with it, but I was like, I don't even know if it needed to be. It was just fun.
I think I don't. Maybe they could have done more with it. I can't remember what we said when we watched them. I'm like, this is just an excuse to just do crazy crap. So,
and I loved it.
It's really fun. Like if you just need a good popcorn episode, Deadlock is here for you.
So those are my two honorable mentions.
I want to give a shout out to Caretaker. It's not my favorite premiere of Star Trek, but I do think it's a very effective premiere of a Star Trek show. I think it's really good at setting up the character, and we talked about it when we were watching it. They talked about how in Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and their premieres, they didn't like how the character introduction stuff was handled. They thought it was really clunky and it was overly expository and didn't really show who these people were. And I would agree for the most part. Caretaker, while not the strongest premiere, maybe does the best job in terms of organically introducing all of the disparate characters for this show. I think it does a really good job of that. My left field choice is going to be The Cloud. There's just a lot of fun. This is what I'm talking about, the ensemble. This is a lot of good ensemble character stuff. In an otherwise, okay, episode of Voyager. But like I said, Rachel came out for that one, and she was like, I was all about it. I loved it. It was great. They're all friends, and they're all figuring out this crazy cloud. It's like, it's not about guns. It's not about bad guys. It's about, what do we do? That's my... I am not going to call this one of the great episodes of Star Trek, but this is my left field choice. It's very Star Trek-y.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun watching that one. What are our least favorite episodes, Aren?
Well, I did have the dishonorable mention of alliances. Just the end. Just the end.
But it was so good until the end.
It was really good until the end, which makes it even worse. Which I still enjoyed that episode, but it does. I think from a more objective viewpoint, that makes it's a bad episode because the end is that terrible.
I'm going to give it to... Here's why I'm going to give it to this. I have math behind me. State of Flux.
Okay.
Because this sets up the whole
thing.
Sisko and Kazon dynamic, which was a huge plot line for these early seasons.
And they make the wrong choice at the end.
It's not an interesting episode. It's really obvious who it is, who the traitor is. Sisko beaming out makes no sense.
I think that's what kills it. I think that's what kills the whole thing. Is like that one choice led to all the rest. We didn't need we could have still had just this episode.
Yeah.
And she could have stayed and dealt with the consequences.
Aren, we've had Kirk. We've had Picard. We've had Sisko. And now we have Janeway. If you haven't been watching the podcast or listening to the podcast, if you haven't been listening to the podcast, you know we're we're pretty big Janeway fans here, but how does Janeway stack up against Kirk, Picard, Sisko? What stands out about her? What are her strengths, flaws? How does Janeway?
She listens to her crew, but she still is very much the captain. She's insane. I don't know. She holds her own. The fun thing about the captains is that they're all so different. And so it's hard to, I don't know. They all have their issues. And unfortunately, I mean, Janeway, if Janeway wasn't played by Kate Mulgrew, that we'd be having a different conversation here, because she brings so much to the character with her mannerisms, the way her deliveries, I don't know, just the ways that she carries herself, because otherwise I feel like the writing is oftentimes she feels so contradictory.
Yeah.
Sometimes she does things that don't make sense.
Oh yeah.
But you can almost look past it, just because regardless of how great or awful the material is that she's given, she just knocks it out of the park every time. And we get to see her act against herself, and it's amazing. And it's like, this is the same person, but they also feel different, but they are the same. But like it's like facing yourself, but it's like how you would act given the circumstances. I don't know. I think she's great. And I think she is literally iconic.
Literally. The Janeway icon.
If no one remembers anything else about Voyager, they remember Janeway. Even if they don't know her name, they're like, and I know that's because she's the woman captain, but like, I don't know. She's,
I agree. Even this may be personally biased, but I would say even over 7 or 9, who we have not seen yet, Janeway is what you come to the show for.
It's true.
At least it is for me. I love Janeway. I have such a good time with her. She's all over the fucking place. She's a loose cannon. Maybe that's what's fun for me with her, is that she's just so all over the place and so, I don't want to say thinly written, but she is all over the place.
It's like the writers couldn't decide who she was necessarily.
She's neurotic. Yeah, based on how she ended up being written, she's neurotic. It is a wild ride. When I think about Sisko, Picard, Kirk, they seem much more consistent to me. Janeway feels like, by comparison, a fucking loose cannon. And I know a lot of that is just in the writers, how they're just writing her episode to episode and what they need her to be. I wish this was intentional to the plot, because I actually like this. I like that Janeway is all over the fucking place and neurotic. I just kind of feel like it just kind of shows up on accident because of how the writers are approaching her character. But I actually think it's really interesting that she is this neurotic mom. It's such a weird little character, but she throws herself into the end of the part. 1,000%. Even over Avery Brooks as Sisko at this point, I would say that she is throwing herself into that part. I'm still going to give Patrick Stewart as Picard and William Shatner as Kirk as the unassailable, like, what are you going to do? But she's so good at what she is doing, even if her character is fucking all over the place. The reason why she is why I keep coming back to this show is because even though I've seen the episodes, even though I know how Voyager goes from start to finish, Janeway is just, she's a loose cannon. She's a fucking cowboy. And even, it's just one of those things where I watch this show and I've seen it. I'll watch an episode and I'm just like, I'm watching what she's doing. I'm like, damn girl, like what the fuck you doing? Like, she can still surprise me in a way that the other characters can't. And it's not for the best of reasons, because it's literally because the writers aren't consistent with her character. But Kate Mulgrew, is consistent in playing the character. So it kind of inadvertently creates this neurotic character, and I am just kind of here for it.
I like how all over the place
I think Janeway is, up to this point, the most deeply flawed of all of them. And not because the writers intentionally made her so. It's because the writers are kind of all over the place with her. But Kate Mulgrew fucking brings it every fucking time.
I love a flawed protagonist that I can root for with all my body and soul.
You and I have come at this from a little different point of views. So not just final thoughts, but any changed perceptions from watching this together?
Some episodes aren't as good as I remember, but I enjoy the show. When it comes,
Aren, why do you enjoy this show? We have been doing this for 17 episodes. I brought you on for this.
I don't know. I care about the characters. I like the cast. I just enjoy it. I don't know.
Explain yourself.
Every time I watch, it's like when Colleen's like, why does Lord of the Rings mean so much to you that you cry all the time at like every scene or whatever? And I'm just like, I don't know. It just does. And it's like, I don't know if you necessarily need to always have like a concrete, like spelled out reason for why you like something. Because sometimes it doesn't always work like that. And I don't think language is necessarily always the right way to describe something. And it has limits, and I just enjoy it. It brings me joy.
Aren, this marks the end of your co-host tenure on Star Trek Stories.
No, don't say that.
Don't say that.
Sure?
That's not happening.
I'm too fragile. I can't take it. This is too fun.
This is not to say that you will never be on the podcast again.
I know, because I know if that happened, there would be millions of angry fans emailing, obviously.
If you are upset about Aren leaving the podcast, you can email us at storystartrek@gmail.com.
You better.
But you came on. You've been my co-host for this whole Voyager chunk. Aren and I have been doing this whole show up until now, but then you came on for this Voyager chunk, and I got to say, I've thoroughly enjoyed doing this little chunk. I could not have done this without your enthusiasm, because I was like, oh my god. If it were Aren and I doing this, oh my god, we would both be over here just like, clear. So to have someone come on who is like, I love Voyager, it makes a huge difference.
Well, I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
I've enjoyed it, Jaron. you have definitely been the highlight of this whole chunk. I feel like we've had a lot of good guest hosts.
Yeah.
For this chunk,
it's actually fun to see some of your guests in person.
I've
heard their voices.
You've mostly been listening to at this point, so to get to see who all comes on, I feel like we've had a lot of good guest hosts. The first half was mostly like a bunch of just like newbies and new friends, and the second half was Tyson.
I love Tyson.
No, Tyson is. I wish he were here right now so we could just be like. Quick little shout out to Tyson Baker, because I feel like Tyson ended up being our unofficial second co-host for this. You and I had our like big chunk at the beginning, but for the back half, it's like here's Tyson to take us home.
Love him. He's always Mr. Smiley to me.
Oh yeah, I know. He's such a lovely, delightful person.
Yeah. Delightful is literally the perfect word to describe Tyson.
Delightful. But I have had so much fun with all our guests. I feel like this has actually been... We've had lots of newbies come on, people we have not had on the podcast before. And I'm very tickled by everyone who came on.
I was excited to finally bring Bree on.
Oh my God.
Been waiting for Bree to be on forever.
I didn't know Bree was going to be an option until you said so. I was like, we're going to get fucking Bree on?
Yeah, I still remember that moment where you're like, how big of a Star Trek fan are you? I didn't know you were a Star Trek fan. And then she just moves her leg and it's Uhura.
Tattoo. Oh my God, your leg is a Uhura tattoo.
A really good one, by the way.
A really good one.
Really, because, people's faces are really hard to do. And this is just...
Stunning.
Like
photographic artwork.
Beautiful.
On Bree's leg. Just Uhura just...
I know. I need to go ask her again who did it so we can shout them out or something.
Yeah, incredible tattoo work. This might be the end of your tenure on this 100 episodes we're doing. This does not necessarily mean you are done with the podcast forever, though. I definitely, I will probably, if we're going to continue this and do a phase 2, I'm definitely going to have to call upon you for future co-host.
Thank you. I mean, I'll be there. I mean, if I have to send in my resume, I will. Hopefully I won't have to, but I will.
Before you go, Aren, I still got one last episode to do. Yes, for those new to the podcast, anytime we are in between chunks of Star Trek episodes, we like to do little palate cleansers. We like to call these palate cleansers nerd movies, of course. We are going to be watching a Christopher Nolan film.
Nolan's the GOAT.
Oh, Nolan's the GOAT. I would not agree, but...
You're wrong.
I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride.
Love his weird dialogue, his weird editing.
I love Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan is great for concept and acting and theme, not great for sound mixing. It's his fatal flaw. No. I genuinely enjoy Christopher Nolan. He's got a few films on our for consideration list, and I'm like, look, we have to do one of them if we're gonna be serious about this show. So we're finally gonna do one of them. The question is, which one? We have decided for Nerd Movies 6, we are going to be watching Interstellar. We are watching Interstellar for Nerd Movie 6.
So if you guessed right, give yourself a pat on the back. Maybe take a shot of your favorite beverage. Even if it's like juice, take a shot, because...
We are watching Interstellar. How exciting. I have not seen this since it first came out. We will be having a returning guest joining us for that one. Coming back for the show, another Christopher Nolan diehard. Our good friend and resident philosophy professor Ananda Spike
It's going to be a great movie.
is going to be back on with us to talk about Interstellar. She is very pumped. Like, you two are going to... both of you love this movie, and she is very excited to come on and talk about it. She was like, guess what I watched the other day? I'm like, what? Interstellar? I'm like, Ananda, we're watching it for our podcast in a few weeks. She's like, I know, but it was on and I love it. I'm like, oh my God. You and Aren, just like, I love this movie. I just watch it all the time.
I've watched it twice in a row before. One time I watched it, it ended, I just restarted it.
Insane. I watched it once. Insane.
It's a 3-hour movie. It's fine.
Oh my God. In addition, we will have a
mystery guest.
Yes, in addition, we will have a couple of new friends on with as well. I always love having new friends on the podcast. So, yeah, next time, Christopher Nolan, Interstellar, Ananda Spike, and a couple of randos who you haven't heard of before. All right, any final things you want to leave with our listeners before we pack it all up?
One of life's greatest joys is talking about anything, but especially Star Trek with you.
Oh, I appreciate that. We've said it before, and we said this, and when you first came on as co-host for our Voyager introduction, and I think even before you brought this up, I think you may have brought this up for a Line of Troyes. I can't remember, but it's like anytime we get together, it's like, yeah, it's a cool catch up. It's cool. Work Star Trek.
Inevitably.
Star Trek. Unless you want to talk about Star Trek.
It somehow just always finds its way into conversation.
Every single time we always talk about it, and I like getting into it with you. I mean, like all of us Hatch siblings get into it, but you and I are the creative writers of the Hatch bunch. So I think you and I would both point to Star Trek as being like, this definitely had an influence on.
Oh, absolutely.
On story writing.
Tearing up.
Yeah. So, oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm a big baby.
I had this fan fiction when I was a little kid. It was called Rivets. And Dana jumped into love with the Romulan commander.
There was the RMS Ragu.
The Romulan Starship Ragu. Yes. If you'd like to send us your childish 5-year-old's fan fiction, you can email us at storiedstartrek@gmail.com. That's storiedstartrek@gmail.com. Aren, it will be sad to not have you on, but you have been, losing Aren as permanent co-host was very sad. I was very lucky to get you for like a big 17 episode chunk, and it will be also sad to lose you as well because you are the first co-host since Aren. I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. We'll see. But I'm like, I feel like we found our own little groove and our own little rapport. And I feel like the shows we have covered, like I always say at the end of every episode, if you did not enjoy our coverage, or if you did not enjoy the episode itself, we hope you enjoyed our coverage of the episode. And I feel like I've had a lot of fun covering the episodes with you.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun too. Thank you so much for asking me to be co-host.
It probably will not be the last time. I will just say
spoilers.
That. But we'll see what is coming for us in the future. All right, everyone. Next time, Interstellar, Christopher Nolan, Ananda Spike, a couple of new guest hosts. Aren's last episode as co-host for this 100 episode look. Yeah, good stuff coming ahead next time. Actually, I will say beforehand, we will be taking a break, and then we will be getting into all that. So enjoy the week off, everyone.
Bye.